accomplished.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Before we jump into this video, and hopefully you guys do take something away from this, do give my Twitter a follow. I'm going to drop a lot of stuff in there. I have been dropping a lot of stuff in here, like a 3x right here, gave out for free. It doesn't charge you anything, so do follow. I do drop some stuff on there, and similarly, I do the same thing in my Telegram. It's free. Just join. Like here, I talked about the strategy. I tell people to ask questions, and I also give out free trades. So I did a couple 3, 4x. So here was the 3x, and some other plays. Like I gave a medium term play in here, and I'm gonna give out more as well. So do join that. So the Twitter link and the Telegram link, both are free. They're in my bio. And lastly, if you do need a crazy trading platform that's very cheap, it's the cheapest on the market to trade on, BULLX, it's the link in my bio. You will get 10% off fees as well. And it is an early access link, so you will get early access and you won't be on a wait list anywhere, as opposed to some people, okay? So if you do need a crazy trading platform with all these cool gadgets and wallet tracking and multi-chart, this does come out very soon. Do hop on that link, trade on it, and you will get an airdrop for it as well in the future, so it's free money you're getting back. All right, so I appreciate it. Let's get back into the video. Today's video is going to be discussing my high volume strategy and the types of scenarios that this strategy fits into, as well as when to use it and how to use it and the best ways to use it. So for this strategy, you're going to be mainly focusing on the about to graduate filter, predominantly these filters right here, with at least one social, dev holding max 25%, 80 holders minimum, $55,000 in volume, $45,000 in market cap, and a token age of maximum, emphasis on maximum, 3 minutes. And you're like, Chris, I actually have a lot of questions in my Telegram because I gave them these exact filters and they were asking me how I caught this play, this play, this play. And I told them these exact filters and they're like, oh, the entire screen's blank. Is BULLX down? No, guys, the filters are super specific. 99.999% of the time, this will be empty. Okay? And once in a blue moon, you'll get something in here, and that's when you research it real quick. If it automatically bonds and says migrating right here on the top right, then that means it had a lot of volume, a lot of interest, a lot of buyers, especially under 3 minutes. That's very good and insane, and you definitely need to check that out. You go into other Telegram tools, you check if it's a bundle, you check on bubble maps if it's bundled up or there's multiple insider wallets, etc. But for example, if obviously this is empty right now, but if it says, for example, 13% top holders, 0% dev sell, and say insiders, this is insiders on BULLX, it would say like 1%, that's very good. Like something along these lines, if it says something like this here, that's good, especially if the holders say it says 150, say this is like 100 and volume's like 100K, that's really good and you need to at least check it out. All right, guys, these filters aren't an end all be all like, oh, anything that comes in here, you insta buy. Absolutely not. What these filters do here, right? There's no filters here and look how much trash there is, right? So it's similarly, it's going to be here. If you have no filters like these, if you don't have these filters, there's going to be hundreds of coins that are absolute trash and will make you lose all your money. So you use these filters, have it very clean, minimal, no coins, as you guys can see right here. And that's good because you want to be focusing on good coins, not like right here, thousands of coins, right? So as I said, focus on 3 minutes and you want something quick in here. You do not want to be buying it here, by the way. In terms of like, if it hasn't migrated yet, if it pops into here and the market cap's 50K, 60K, 70K, you don't buy, you wait for it to migrate. I know, like, oh, Chris, it hits 100K, it's migrating. I could have gotten it at 60K. Yes, but it could be an insta dump at 100K when everyone offloads it once it gets to graduated and it migrates to Radium. So what you want to be doing is, while it's migrating, it takes about a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You're researching the coin. You plug in the token address into a bundle checker on Telegram. There's many tools out there, guys. Just search it up. I'm not gonna like support any one because they're all the same. They're all good. Likewise, bubble maps as well. It's gonna tell you all of the holders' information. And lastly, you're gonna check if all of these statistics are good. Insiders are 0 or 1%, right? Top 10% is not that high. Dev holding ideally would be out, ideally. And so then, if the coin is good, what you're going to be doing is waiting for it to migrate over here, and then you're going to go into the chart. And so I actually pulled up 3 examples today that I personally saw. One of them I called out in the Telegram, and some people made some money on it. Some people just didn't see it. So I called one of the coins out in my Telegram at 100K. This one, creator, it was an AI coin. And yeah, it hit about 100K. I called it. I think it went to 200K, then it went back down to 30K, and then it went to 1 million. So it was high volume, a little bit more sellers, but the idea still stands. And so I'm basically going to just discuss the 3 scenarios that can occur in this high volume strategy. Then I'm going to put it into the Google Doc here so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You can take a screenshot of the notes. So every single play you're looking at, you know, hey, does this fit the criteria? Okay. So criteria 1 would be, does it fit those filters? Right? Did you see it in those filters? If it's a yes, great. That fits criteria 1. Then there's going to be 3 scenarios for this high volume strategy that can happen. Scenario 1, I'll show you. This is the coin I called out in the Telegram today. It migrates at approximately 99,000 or 100,000. Let's say right here. Okay, so this is approximately where, with current Solana prices, it migrates right here on this white line. So what happened? When it moved back over, so right here, right? That's right here. It hit 97, 98, 99K, and then it starts migrating right here. And it pauses, like no one can trade it. Then it moves over to this far right column over here. And then you can start trading again. And what happened is instantly, in 1 second, guys, 1 second time frame, a lot of people bought it and it went up all the way to 200K. And most people are just going to take some profits off immediately, especially since we haven't had a dump for the individuals that are in from this early on. They want to take some profits off the table or at least get their initial position out. So as you can assume, it's going to dump. And it dumped a little bit below this 100K level. And if you guys don't know, here's a little bit of advice and alpha and something that you would find out by yourself, but it would take you a couple months, is that 100K is a magic kind of level. It's a psychological kind of level. 1s, 5s, and 10s, guys. 1s, 5s, and 10s, write it down, are key levels for psychology. So for example, it goes to 200K, goes back to 100, kind of finds some support below, above, below, below, above, below, below, right? And high volume, as you can see, we get this massive push back up. This is where you want to be buying, right? So if you see dips sometimes and you get scared, just wait for the dip to be bought back up above the radium migrating price. So if it got migrated at 100K, goes to 220, 200, and then goes to 30K, you could keep the chart open on the side. And if you see it displace aggressively, I mean, this was what, 10 seconds? In 10 seconds, it went from 40K to 150K. Then hey, there's high volume in there. It's 4x pretty much in 10 seconds. It's worth checking it out. And as I mentioned, 100K, 500K, 1 million, or just 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, etc. You could extrapolate that as much as you want. Those are key zones. So if we're above it, it could come back down and support it and go higher. If we're below it, sometimes, like here, if we're below it, we could go up and reject it and go lower. So ideally, if we're bullish and you think this goes higher, and this dip was kind of fake, it was just a lot of people just selling their position to get profits out, and not necessarily the narrative of the coin. Like, people think it's a lot better. It's just early buyers want to get their money out. Then ideally what you do is you could take this gamble, right? You could be buying here at 30, 40K, but it could go to zero theoretically, right? Because a lot of coins do this dip right here and they all go to zero. The one in a few do something like this. It displaces aggressively higher and then it comes back into the migrating zone right here, 100K. And look how it's bouncing here. That's showing support and a willingness to hold price. Buyers and sellers are pretty much at an equilibrium right there. And that means it's a fair price. More people aren't selling, more people aren't buying. It's equivalent. So here, if you want to be a buyer, you'd be wanting to buy here at this 100K level because it's showing a willingness to support price. And as you can see, it displaced, all the way to 1 million right here. Beautiful. And what did I say, guys, about psychological zones? 1, 5s, 10s. 100K, 500K, look, 500K, right? Look right here. Kind of supported price, right? Look, 1 support, 2 support, 3 support, 4 support before it broke it. So it supported kind of price 4 times. So you guys want scalping strategies. There's millions of scalping strategies. I'll be doing a video on that in the future, but like, you could do a scalp right here, boom, from 500K to 700K. That's 40% profit right there. That's a scalp. You do 2 Solana, you almost made 1 Solana. So likewise, 100K, 500K, 1 million. Look, where did this token stop at? 1 million. Look at that. It stopped and then it went to pretty much zero, 18K. 1s, 5, 10s. So likewise, high volume, if it gets below the pre-migrating radium price, Just wait for it to get above and show support. Then you buy it here, and you'd be getting a 10x. You would have gotten a 10x. And that's one of the scenarios that can happen for the high volume play. So I want you guys all to take a screenshot of this. I'm going to zoom in for you. Take a screenshot, put it into the notes you're writing. I want you to write down and annotate this. If it goes above and then comes back below, and you want to be bullish on it and want to buy it, wait for it to get above that migrating price at about 100K and see if it comes back down and bounces off of it. If it does, that is bullish. You want to be buying. If it comes back here and then it nukes again, you don't buy. It showed no willingness to support the price. All right, so I want you guys take a screenshot. I'm going to move my mouse off. Take a screenshot and write that in your notes. So that's scenario one that can happen. Is a quick kind of push of volume up, a seller's kind of paradise here. They're just selling it off. They want their profits. And then new buyers stepping in, pushing it back above. And this is where you want to be buying, right in this area, right here. All right, scenario two. All three of the coins I'm showing you, I actually saw today. I unfortunately didn't catch any of them. I'm multitasking, looking at 30 coins a minute. So unfortunately can't catch everything. But this is scenario two, right? So I discussed in scenario one how it could go below 100K. This is the scenario of it being supported at 100K. Let's see, right here is approximately the radium price. That's radium price, approximately 98K, where we migrate over from the middle about to graduate to the graduated. Okay guys, so on this coin, as you can see, it migrates at about 98, 97, 99K. And when it opened up in the about to graduate and then into the graduated tab, it goes straight up to about 200, 220K and pulls back. This is kind of bull. This is not kind of. This is bullish because look, it pulls back into 120K. It didn't even reach the approximately 100K level right here. Meaning what? There was not even enough sellers to get to the 100K level. Meaning it's more bullish. And you could be buying this right off the top here. And likewise, if you're a little bit scared, another strategy in terms of high volume and a tip you should write down is the first high we create. If you're scared, you don't want to buy that dip because you're scared it's going to nuke on you. For example, right here, right? We migrate right here. It goes up, comes back down right here. And you're scared like, oh, I buy this, it's going to go nuke to zero. Guess what, guys? This is the first all-time high. Wait for a candle to go above it. Buy the candle above it. So as you can see, it came up above here. You could buy here, buy here, buy here. Look how it supports price. So you could have bought here or you could have bought here. High volume. Look at this one candle overlapping pretty much these three right here. These three candles is overlapped by one of these and some. That's high volume. That's a sign of bullishness. That's what you want to be getting in on. Look how it didn't even get touched. It showed support at 125. You want to be getting in on the coin about here because after a candle like this, it goes straight up approximately 2x. It's going to offer a very tiny retracement. So you'd be entering somewhere about here. And guess what? Then you get about a 2x. This candle is a little bit abnormal because the dev sold all of his 12% of supply. So this usually doesn't happen. But anyways, this is actually a beautiful example. Bounce at 93K. 90 to about 110K is that magic zone. If we're above it and we come back down and bounce, that's bullish. You buy there. Likewise, if we're below it and it comes up to 100K, bounces off and goes lower, we're bearish. Get rid of that coin as soon as possible. The proof is in the pudding. 100K is a magic zone. Look, Dev sold 12% of supply, 20 grand, and nuked it to 100K. And guess what? In 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, it went to 550K, a 5x. That's high volume. And that's showing another willingness to support price. And as we can see, that's the second scenario. Is it going above, instantly going above to about 200, quickly displacing back down to about 100, 120, 130, and then showing another willingness to go higher. So scenario one is displacing from 100K to about 200, 300, 400. The top number doesn't really matter, and coming back down to about that 100, 150K range, right? And you're buying that dip because it's showing support off that price level. Or entry number two of the high volume strat for scenario two is you wait for the candle displacement above the first all-time high and then buy that. So there's your two entry models for scenario two. Scenario two is it displacing quickly above the 100K migrating level and then coming back down and showing that support. You could enter off that support initially and immediately right here, or you can wait, be a little safer, wait for up top to get above the first all-time high and buy that. And then scenario three is where it goes straight up and it doesn't really return to a level and more so returns to about 50% of that initial volume swing. So as we can see here, guys, I'm going to zoom in because the rest of the price action doesn't matter. So as we know, we migrate at about 100K, right? Give or take, let's do 100K. It's about 98K at the moment, 99. So as we can see here, 97.55K. I think that's the current migrating level for today's Solana price. And so look, this next candle, 1 second. This is all 1 second chart, by the way. Each candle is 1 second in price. It goes to 250K, then 300K, then 350, and it pulls back to 270. You want to be buying at 270 if it hit 350? That's not a retracement. Look, goes another 4, 5, 6, goes to 700K. And you're like, oh, Chris, I could have bought this right here, this initial leg down. It's already at 700K. That's a 3x. You're thinking about it the wrong way, guys. Because what if this is just one of those scenarios, like scenario 1, it goes up to 300K and then goes all the way down. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be putting every single trade into a strategy, into a checklist. Every single one of you, after this video, depending on what strategy you're trading and scenarios, you should write it down. Hey, if this doesn't happen, I cannot click buy. And that's going to limit the amount of losses you take significantly. Because I am willing to bet 99% of you just click buy because it looks good and you think it will go higher. It's not like, oh yeah, the chart looks, it looks like it could go higher. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things look good and then they end up going to zero. So I want you guys all to have a checklist. After this video, write a checklist and you have to personally check off every single piece before you click buy. And you owe that to yourself because if you want to make money, that's what you need to be doing. You can't just be blind buying and praying. Oh, I pray some influencer will say on Twitter to his 100,000 followers to buy it. Just go buy a lottery ticket. Just go buy a lottery ticket, guys. If you're smart about it, you can make plenty of money. But if you want to gamble and just have fun with it, be my guest. But then just please don't ask me questions where I repeat it in the video 20 times. So as you can see, and initially the volume boost is exponential and goes very, very high very quickly. 700K. Then as you can see, like with every coin on this Solana chain, people take profits very quickly on this chain. It's not like Ethereum where people are more likely to hold, etc. Solana people sell for even 10% gains. That's how I don't know, down bad they are, or that's how much profit they really need to take. So it gets an instant pullback to 300K. And you're thinking like, oh, how do I know this is kind of where I should be buying? Well, let's do some simple math. All-time highs. Look, if you watch my dip video, in the top right, I'll link it right here. I say about 48 to like 62% is where you should be buying. Look, 52%. Coupled with this is like the first kind of real pullback area where the coin went. See? Look, isn't that convenient? How kind of like the first little retrace, like very tiny, minuscule, it's 25% right here, is where the price stops. Not only is it 50% of this whole swing, and not this swing, by the way, the whole coin from 0 to 730K. That's about 50%, guys. So not only does it fulfill the dip buying strategy criteria, but it also fulfills scenario 3, where it kind of bounces the first all-time high. So what is scenario 3? Scenario 3, where you kind of get a blow-off top. It goes straight up. No real pullback. What you want to do is wait for this more extended pullback. It's not a tiny pullback. It's more extended. And I know some of you are going to be listening like, oh, Chris, what if this just goes straight to 5 million and it don't get a pullback? Guess what, guys? You don't buy that coin. You don't get into that trade. And 99% of you are going to be like, oh, but Chris, if I bought 3 Solana at this price, I would have made $10,000. Okay. Then you know what? Then how about you start buying it according to your strategy and in your rules, and come back to me a week later when you've lost all your money, because 99% of coins aren't going to be going straight up. I'll tell you that right now. I'm just trying to protect you guys. All right, I'm just trying to help out. I've been doing this for 6, 7, 8 months, 10, 12, 13 hours a day. I'm just providing content that I know can help, and I wish was available on YouTube when I was starting out in March and April. Because if I had this content in March and April, I'm telling you right now, my portfolio would be probably 10 times bigger than it truthfully is right now. And I'm willing to tell you the truth. 10 times easily. It'd be probably multiple 7 figures right now if I knew all of this stuff when I first started out. Because what I'd be doing is I'd be watching this content religiously every single day until it clicks in my head for a month straight. I wouldn't even trade. I would be just watching it religiously and learning. I had to learn all of this by myself or through very obscure Twitter people that just post it once in a while. It took me about 4 months to learn all of this, guys. And that's not even counting all of the hours of experience I have. So imagine if you just watch this religiously for 1 month, just devote 1 month of your life to studying and practicing it. Just think about where you'd be in 6 months. Okay, guys? So take what I say with a grain of salt. Of course, use your own judgment as well. I'm not the end all be all. There's better traders than me in this space, 100 times better. And there's also worse traders than me, you know? Just take everything I say with a grain of salt, test it out. If it doesn't work for you, then don't use it. You know, don't take my word for it. Test it out for yourself. If it works for you, wonderful. You know, I've gotten some great DMs from people already using it, catching multiple trades with it, with all my strategies. And that makes me happy, guys. But as I said, at the end of the day, your portfolio matters. If my strategies are making your portfolio balance go lower, don't use them. If they're going higher, good. You're doing the right things. It's not my strategies, it's you implementing them and being disciplined. So as I mentioned, scenario 3, blow off top, you wait for the retracement, you buy. And then you reap the profits, right? And look, 3 million, hold, you see, and look where it kind of starts bouncing. This kind of 1.2, 1.5 range, right? Where does it kind of bounce the most? About 1.5, conveniently, right, guys? 1.510, 1.5. And then look where it kind of bounces here. You get like a wick to 5 million. It's kind of chopping around 4 to 5 million, right? Conveniently, another psychological zone. And so those are the 3 scenarios, guys, of this volume strategy. Of course, this strategy is a lot more in-depth than what I've told you guys in this very short video. But these are the 3 main scenarios, and I'm going to actually write them down here for you. So you can take a screenshot, write it down yourself. So first off, I'm going to do the checklist for you guys. Checklist for the high volume strategy. I apologize for my spelling in advance. I'm a little rusty. So number 1, fits the capitalized. Fits the criteria for the filters. Socials are good. Meme is original. Can be tweet play. Most likely, guys, with these filters and how fast it's moving, it's 99% of the time going to be some kind of tweet play. For example, Elon tweeting an animal or a slogan, or someone famous, or a Fortune 500 company such as, you know, Disney or Coca-Cola, XYZ tweeting something like an animal or something, or Bitcoins, Twitter, those kind of things. Most are going to be tweet plays, but the socials are good. So socials meaning you click on, for example, right here, right, socials, and it pulls up something good, right? Like, oh, Elon tweets this. That's a good social. Then you do, you know, it fits the filters, as I said. You check the bundles, check bundle checkers. You check bubble maps. You check all of those. And then 4, wait for migration and see how token trades, right, guys? Because sometimes, as I mentioned, scenario 1 can occur, blow up top into sub 100K dip, wait for the coin to go above the 100K mark and see if price shows support. Buy the support. Scenario 2, blow up top into 100K dip, finds support at 100K. Buy this support, or wait for the first all-time high to be traded above and then buy that candle close and support. Scenario 3, extreme volume and blow off top. No signs of retrace soon. Be patient. Wait for the original small retrace according to dip strategy. 48 to 62%. usually aligns with the first couple 1 second candles of the post-migration trading. And then there's a scenario 4, guys, but I mean, you don't trade scenario 4. Scenario 4 is coin goes straight down and doesn't stop, right? No trading, right? No buying. So, for example, imagine scenario four would be something like this. I mean, we already looked at this coin, so like obviously, but imagine like right here, we open at 100K and it just goes straight down. Instead of going up, it literally just goes straight down like this with no end in sight, right? You don't buy that. That's just gambling. You know, if, as I said, scenario 1, you could wait for it to get above and then buy that, like get above the original price and buy that. That's good. That's fine. But you cannot buy a just straight dump because it's just going to dump to 0. And so that would be scenario 4, but you wouldn't really be looking to purchase that. So let's to sum it up. Requirements for the high volume strategy. Fits the criteria of the filters. The social are good, meme is original. Usually is a tweet play, guys, as I mentioned. You want to check bundle checkers. There's many on Telegram and on Twitter. Just search it up on Twitter and use those. I'm not going to point any single ones out. Same with bubble maps. You want to wait for the migration and see how the token trades. Scenario 1 is a blow up top. You don't even have to classify blow up top because that blow up top signifies it's very bullish. Just a small pump into the sub 100K dip. You wait for the coin to go above 100K and see if it supports price. If it does, you buy it. Scenario 2 is the pump up higher into the 100K dip and it finds support there immediately. You're buying that initially. If you're a little bit more on the risky side and want a higher like RR multiple. If you want a lower average price gaining you, higher net results and profits. Or if you're on the safer side and you want to be higher win rate, you don't really need a 20x, you're complacent with a 9x, right? You wait for the first all-time high to be traded above and then you buy the candle closure above that and or support of that first all-time high. Scenario 3 is the extreme volume. As I mentioned, blow off top. It goes, there's no real limit to where it could go. It could go 2 million, 500K, 900K, right? But the way you know it's scenario 3 is if in that first initial explosive move, if it stagnates and starts showing price being supported at 48 to 62%, and that usually aligns with the first kind of all-time high in a very tiny dip in the price, as mentioned in that example, then you want to be buying that support. And then as I mentioned, scenario 4, I didn't show a chart for it simply because it's very, very obvious. If the coin opens at 98, 99K, right, and goes straight down, as I mentioned, you're not buying that, right? Because could it be scenario 1? Kind of, right? It didn't go up first, but it could kind of still be scenario 1 because it could go above that 100K again. But if it's just going straight down and there's no buying and nothing above 100K, you don't buy, no trading, and you actually save your money, guys. So before I end it, if you guys don't mind, give me a follow. Growing very fast. I'm dropping a lot of plays and kind of tweets and stuff on my Twitter. Likewise, the Telegram's growing really fast, guys, almost at 600 people, so that's amazing. I appreciate the support. Calling out plays in here always. Some very good plays. And this is the coin I showed you guys. I know I got scared at the dip. If anyone held through, you're the GOAT. Some people actually held through and they got, 5x's, 10x's on that trade I mentioned, so that's amazing. And lastly, guys, if you do want a trading platform, look at this, how amazing it is. My link's in the bio. You'll get 10% off fees. So trade on that, use that. It's the best trading platform in the game for meme coins, and it will significantly improve your trading on a platform. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really do appreciate all the support. It's been amazing. I hope your trading goes amazing. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.